Hey, so I guess I have a question. Many of you guys were around when Martin Luther King died, right? So a lot of you knew about his indiscretions. You knew about the orgies. You knew about all the women that he cheated with. And many of you did not say anything because I guess you just assumed that this stuff would get into history books or that we would somehow find out. I don't know how you thought we would find out, but I guess many people thought that we would find out. I didn't know. I just found out. And so this stuff is not in history books. None of this is in the history books, and why it's important. And I need to break this down, why this is important. Why this is important is because everything that you know, everything that we're dealing with today is a result of MLK and the seed that he planted. Now, I get it. It doesn't seem like it's that deep, but I want you to think about this. Think about the number of streets named after him. Think about how nearly an entire month is dedicated to this man. Think about all the statues. Think about how they made him a god. Now I want you to look at the Black church. I want you to look at the Black church in its entirety. I want you to think about the fact that almost every fan has a picture of his face on it. When you walk into many Black churches, there is a picture of MLK up. A lot of them have the picture of MLK above the pulpit. Now, many of them do programs during on his birthday during Black History Month, and they pump this man up to be a god, like he was our leader or something, because of what you guys say that he got done. But consider it like this. Think about it like this. In about 20 years, people are going to look at BLM. Or no, I'm going to say about 30 years. In about 30 years, people are going to look at BLM, and they're going to look at the fire set, and they're going to look at all the damage that they done, and they're going to say they had to do that. They had to do that because Blacks were treated unfairly. Me and you know that that's not true. BLM is a paid organization that had to pay for all of that chaos. It was planned chaos to make it look like Blacks are so disenfranchised and so upset and so angry that we are still out here rioting and going off, even though none of that is true. Many of us sat at home on our phones looking at this in disbelief, trying to figure out who are these people that are out here burning up stores, burning down businesses, killing people, doing all this destruction. They were paid. They're paid by George Soros. We know this. So now I want you to think about Stanley Levinson. I want you to think about the man that wrote King's speeches. These people were also paid. Think about this. When I was a kid, it was drilled into my head. I can still see the hoses and the dogs. This was all a setup. It was for us to think that for us to believe that we're victims and that we can't do anything and that the United States has always been racist. But here is what's interesting. I talk to white folks and I read the comments by white people. Well, I read most of the comments that come up. I'm sorry, a lot of the comments, there are a lot of comments, so I don't always see them, but I see some of them. So when I see the comments by white people saying, I didn't even know that there was a race issue. How is it that the race issue was that big, but most people didn't even know it existed? Think about that for a second. I was talking to a client yesterday, and I was telling her my new discoveries about MLK, and we were just having a conversation, and I'm talking to her, and I looked up, and she had tears in her eyes. And I said, what's the problem? Because it just, I didn't want her to cry. I didn't expect that. She said, I just didn't know. She said, I grew up in a small town. Everybody was white. I did not know anybody Black. I did not know that there were race issues. I didn't have a problem. She didn't know it. And that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm learning, is that most didn't know it. The devil has been very crafty with this. You got one side, Blacks, thinking that everybody hates them, thinking that we are the problem, that the U.S. has tried to kill us, that they're always sticking dogs on us, that they pull out the hoses, that they want us sitting at the back of buses. Now, all this stuff, this is what we were raised to believe. Then you got white folks over here that are a perceived threat and enemy, because that's what we're told. So you got white folks over here that are a perceived threat or enemy that don't even know it. The devil has used confusion. It has been confusion. It has been a setup. And the reason I'm so adamant about this is not just about him cheating, which is also a big deal. It's not just about him cheating. It's the fact what the seed that was planted by him, we are looking at the fruit of that today. Look at the black church. This is why they're social justice. They are activists. These are not pastors. Many of these people, Talbert Swain, Jamal Bryant, just look around. This is a seed. This is the fruit of a rotten tree that has to be cut down. God is unveiling this and revealing this to us in this hour for a reason. The truth must come out because we have been bound. We have been bound by the lie that we were victims in the first place. It was a lie that white folks hated us. Now, of course, there are some racist white folks. There are some racist black folks. There are some racist Indian folks. There are some racist Mexican folks. You don't focus on them. But overall, most white people do not wake up trying to figure out how can I make everybody in this nation's life worse. They were not told they were victims. The sad part is that when I was a kid, when I took history class, I didn't learn nothing about America. All I learned about was segregation and civil rights, period. That was it. No civics, no nothing. Then I was told you vote Democrat, a straight ticket. That's it. No thought involved at all. And you wonder why these people are so ignorant. That's why they're resistant to the truth, because they've been lied to their whole life. And now that we're trying to get the truth out, people don't even want the truth out. They want to continue to live the lie. And then I want to address this. This thing about the good that King did. Think about this. He purposely went to smaller towns that had these laws still on the books that were basically not enforced because blacks were overall thriving. They had businesses and cars and everything else. Think about pictures of the 30s and 40s and black families that you saw. They didn't look miserable. You know what I mean? Like there may have been some stuff, but I believe it was isolated. And also, I believe if you're born again, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. If God is for you, then who can stand against you? Nobody can stand against you if God is for you. Think about what Booker T. Washington taught. Think about that. So now, overall, he would go to places with the bus boycott and the lunch counters and these kind of things. And he knew if the sheriff or if the police officers in that town were violent and the agitators came in first, this is what we saw with BLM. And then the TV cameras would show up and take pictures. And then it would be posted for the world. So we were given a hero. We were given a hero, a man that had no morals. Now, I'm not against MLK because it's still a small part of me still has some, because I was raised thinking he was a hero. So a small part of me still has that reverence. But the bottom line is, everything you think he accomplished, he didn't. It was all Marxism. Everything that the black church is going off of, everything that the black church knows is basically was taught and told by white Marxists. This is why Jamal Bryant has zero issue having a fist on his podium. This is why he has zero issue saying racist stuff. This is because he is a Marxist as well. It was designed that they infiltrate the church, and that's what they did, and they used Black America. Instead of you trying to fight with me in my inbox, why don't you just learn the truth, know the truth, and accept the truth? Don't be mad at the person telling you the truth. Be mad that you got lied to. That's all I got to say about it.